Greetings, fuckers. 'Tis I,
Why?
investigative pop culture journalist Popcorn Farts, and my special producer and part-time lover, Popcorn Queefs, is joining me for this one because she's the best and
Why are you
keeps.
screaming, babe?
I don't know. I'm trying to drown out the cat and the fuck our crackhead cat in the background, who's wondering why we've shut her out of the room. For today's episode, I didn't tell you. Only Fart's officially dead.
You told me.
Okay, good. Yeah. There was a whole thing. There were other Only Farts.
I know.
People did it way better than I ever could. They had a whole fucking studio and the
It's
graphics.
not that they did it better. They did it first. They had more time.
They took my dream 3 years before I had it and made it into like an actual show. They had graphics and the whole nine, and I don't have the budget or really the drive. Oh, I think I have the drive. I just don't have the money to fucking
Maybe one day.
One day. Now
Well,
that Daddy Trump's back, maybe
Trump Daddy.
Trump Daddy. Maybe I'll fucking get it. But no, today's episode is kind of a big one for me because I love movie fights. Now you didn't know what movie fights were. Movie fights were actually one of the shows under Screen Junkies back in the day. To me, a little bit of backstory about why I loved it. In my 20s, I drank a lot. I drank a lot of booze. And I would get vicious, nasty hangovers. To the point where I would pretty much be bedridden the next day. And one of my comforts in that was watching movie fights. It just made me feel like, this is going to sound really cringe, but it made me feel like I was hanging out with friends in a weird, fucked up way, because it was just the entire format of the show. They had it set up like almost like an ESPN roundtable, but they would talk nerd shit. And some of the fights were just really entertaining, from guys like Dan to, they would have celebrity guests sometimes, like Kevin Smith would come in a couple times. They had Elijah Wood, who was fucking cool as fuck, like on that show. Like he came across as just like this awesome dude.
I didn't know you ever heard of this show before the last couple days.
Really?
The way you talked about it made it sound like you just heard about it from your person.
Oh, I'll be honest. Like, one of the reasons I started defending Andy Signore was because I wanted movie fights to come back. The movie fights I know and love.
You never mentioned it before.
Really?
Really?
Well, probably because we met well after 2017, when Andy Signore unfortunately got fired from the show. A little bit of backstory to that: when Andy Signore got fired, like at first they did this whole round table where they were like addressing the shit that went down, and they were like, Andy Signore was a big part of Screen Junkies, but he wasn't Screen Junkies. And at the time, and before like we realized that those allegations turned out to be bullshit, I took them at like face value. Like the guys, I was like, well, I'm still gonna. I had red flags though, because every once in a while when Andy was working there, they would kind of variate from like the original like construct of the show. Like they would have different hosts or shit like that. Like every once in a while Dan Merrill, who was like his kind of sidekick on the show, would host, or they would have like other hosts, and it just didn't feel the same. Like the entire like construct of the show I felt was like very delicate. Like it was a very delicate balance. That was just my takeaway from it as a fan.
Uh-huh.
But funnily enough, one of my sources, who I won't say who, and it's definitely not that crackhead cat in the background. But one of my sources close to movie fights and Screen Junkies has given me some information on the background of this show.
Oh, is that so?
Yeah, I'd like to issue some fun facts. Now, this is going to be a review of the new movie fights. I get a little off topic, and Popcorn Queefs is supposed to help with that. Full disclosure, you guys, we popped a couple edibles before we started this episode, and I know the rule is always you should never, like, do weed.
Do weed?
Do the weed.
How
You should
old
never.
are you?
You should not 12. you should never indulge in the devil's lettuce before you do a fucking YouTube show, but we really do just like having fun with this shit. I guess my biggest fear going into this review is that we're gonna get struck for copyright again. I'm still like hand shy from the last time, but fuck it, we're gonna do a review of movie fights, and I've proven before that I'm not above lying, cheating, and using every bit of clickbait I can to trick people into watching our reviews. If I have to like broadcast this as like a popcorn farts and popcorn queef sex tape and just and then just do nothing but talk about the new movie fights for the next however long we do this, so be it. The internet's gonna hear our takes, damn it, whether they want to or not.
No matter how many tries it takes us.
No matter how many tries it takes us, no matter how many times we get denied.
Blood, sweat, and tears.
Blood, sweat, and tears go into these reviews, gosh darn it. And we're not gonna be told no. No, but I do got some fun facts about this. Some of these actually are heartbreaking. Like, the entire concept of movie fights was actually based on a game Andy Signore played when he was 8 years old. Did you know that?
No.
No, when he was 8, he had all these toy figures that he'd pull out and he'd like get his like siblings and parents together, and he'd have them play with him. Like, and he would pretend like he was the host. Like, it was a debate game, and to see who was the best debater about certain topics.
Who was the master debater?
Yeah. Yeah. And he'd pit, like, Woody Woodpecker against George Jetson and shit like that. Donald Duck against Homer Simpson. You know, guys like that. And the whole concept was him. I didn't know that. I thought, like, movie fights was kind of like a joint creative idea.
Group effort.
Yeah, because Andy Signore says that shit all the time. He's like, it wasn't just him, it wasn't just one person, it was a team. Which, I don't know. Given that information, I think movie fights is... Here's my take on it. Like, how many false allegations does this guy have to be vindicated from before they just finally let him host a damn movie fights again? It's his fucking idea. But when my source told me that, I was heartbroken. I'm like, oh, dude, this was like your 8-year-old dream, and they stole it from you.
Yeah? Yeah, that is sad.
Yeah, dude, and the entire, like... Before we start this, I think it's important to, like, pull up what the old movie fight set looked like. Can you do that, Popcorn Queefs? My producer and lover?
Of course. All right, here it is.
Okay, check out how the original movie fight set looked. Like, this looks like a nerd's paradise. And one of the reasons was, like, fun fact...
Is that him there?
No, that's Andy Signore.
That's what I said.
Yeah, far left in the flannel.
Okay.
Yeah, this was his baby. But, so, like, another fun fact, all of those toys on the desk are actually his toys.
Oh, from when he was little?
From when he was an 8-year-old boy, yeah.
Really?
Those were his toys. And, like, I didn't ask my source this, but, like, I was kind of curious, like, if they let him keep his toys after they fired him, because how fucked up would that be if they also...
Take his toys.
And threw him out.
Right.
Dude, they literally took his toys! Like,
No, they didn't give them to him?
I don't know. I'd have to, like, do some more research and find that out, but, I mean, that would be just extra...
Fucked up.
That would be extra salt on the wounds, wouldn't it?
Hell yeah.
Yeah, but check out the look on that set. Like, that's very inviting to a nerd. Mm-hmm. And, like, it looks like an ESPN, like, roundtable. Like, when they would argue movie fights, like, it looked like... It was like they were arguing sports, but it was all nerd shit. So to a guy like me that's somewhat masculine, but not all the way in the sports, like, this was like a dream come true for yours truly. So that was the pitch of the original movie fights. Now, let's look at the new set after Andy got fired.
Right.
Now, you tell me, does that look inviting to nerds?
Doesn't look inviting at all.
No, dude.
This one, like, has a good vibe. This one's very talk show host.
See,
you know what I mean?
See,
The View.
Oh God, it does. It does look like The View.
I know.
Oh no, I never even pieced that together. But it's true. And you know what's funny about that is, like, in 2017 when he got canceled, like, it was like he was like the second one after Harvey Weinstein he was like the second
Yeah.
domino. But like they were so like there was such a witch hunt. Like even if like the allegations did turn out to be true, if you did anything sexual, like you were done. Like Aziz Ansari got canceled because he went on
Oh
that.
yeah.
You remember hearing about that? Where he went on that date with the girl and she gave consent. Like he didn't pressure her or do anything like that. But she came back later and was like, I never wanted to suck his dick. Like
Then why did you do it?
that's the question. It's like, well, did he force you? No, he didn't force me. Did he
So you,
coerce you? No, it's just I felt bad if I didn't. It's like
well,
that's
that's not his fault.
dude. It was literally getting that crazy at that time.
That's just attention seeking at that point.
That was the climate at the time. So like, and the allegations against him were like actually criminal. Now those ones turned out not to be true, but it was just the climate at the time because like.
Yeah.
But see, here's the thing I always like wondered because like I still continued to watch movie fights even when it was this abomination. And I noticed that the quality was dipping. Like the quality in movie, just not just the look, but also like the feel like of the show. It felt very neutered and sterilized. And so as time went on, I was like, and this was before Andy really got vindicated from the criminal allegations.
Mm-hmm.
So I was still kind of on the fuck Andy Signore, like, whatever, you know? But I was starting to realize, like, oh man, he may have played a much bigger part in this creatively than they gave him credit for. Because the quality is dipping. And,
Right.
right. So after.
They probably think this is better.
I don't think they did. Honestly, I really don't. I think they all probably knew it was shit, but it's like, what could they do? They couldn't go against. They definitely couldn't come out and vocalize their support of Andy. But then here's the catch to that, though. It came out eventually that Andy Signore didn't do that shit, man. The chick was like lying and crazy. They did have like a relationship, but it was like consensual. So I naively thought at the time, like, oh, cool. Well, what's done is done. Andy's coming back.
Right.
But they never brought him back to the show. They never even really like apologized for throwing him under the bus. And he had like legitimate friends in there.
I mean, do you know if they even tried to invite him back?
No, according to, because I watched his show on YouTube, he did like a special about it, where he addressed all of it. No, he reached out to them to like talk and be like, hey, you'd have to like go to his thing on his YouTube Popcorn Planet, but he was like he reached out to Dan Merrill, who was like his best friend. He was like his brother on that show. Like they had a really good dynamic where Andy was always the judge and Dan was always the defending champion. And no matter what, Dan always won, and it would frustrate the fans. And Andy designed it that way. Like that was Andy's idea. Like because fans would always want to keep coming back to eventually see Dan finally get toppled. And of course, he never did. And it was believable because Dan Merle knows his shit when it comes to movies and really all things nerd culture. Like, Dan's a G when it comes to debating. So it wasn't unbelievable at all. But they had that chemistry on the show. And I guess behind the scenes, they didn't even want Dan Merle on it. Like they were like the higher ups were constantly trying to pressure Andy to like keep him off the show, and Andy was always going to bat saying, "No, this will work.
Right.
This will work. Just give it time." And thankfully they did. And when all the shit came out, and then it was proven like Andy didn't do it, they still were like, "No, we don't want anything to do with you,
Like,
dude."
yeah, they didn't want to associate with him.
Yeah. So now, like watching the new show, not only was it not fun to watch anymore, but now it felt like morally wrong to me to do it. Because one of the inviting things about movie fights was that it was like friends sitting around at the table
Yeah.
fucking talking shit. But it's like, now it felt like, oh, these friends just killed their other friends. And like, no one's addressing the elephant in the room. Like,
Right.
they're just going on pretending like everything's good and dandy when really they murdered their friends. They backstabbed them. Threw him under the bus anyway. Have you seen the episode of South Park where they think Cartman is Skank Hunt 42? like all the
Yes.
kids, all the boys, and so
But
they
it's
take.
what's his face's dad.
Yeah, it's Kyle's dad.
Kyle,
really.
yeah.
But they think Cartman is Skank Hunt 42,
Yeah.
so they take him out to the woods and they just smash all his shit. And
Yes.
then afterwards, they all feel really bad about it.
Because they know it's not him.
It was like that, except they never felt bad about it.
Right.
They just kept on doing it. So I was very curious to see the new movie fights that I heard they did. Call me naive. I still think that they're going to have Andy back. I mean, they have to, right? He's going on Piers Morgan.
I don't think they would have him back indefinitely, but maybe like a one episode.
They have to bring him back at least once. I mean, come on.
I said maybe once.
Piers Morgan has him on his show. Like, are they better than Piers Morgan? No.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyway, what do you say we switch and start reviewing the brand new movie fights? We've yabbered on long enough, and quite frankly, I think that edible's about to kick in. So press play on this bad boy, princess.
It's time for Screen Junkies Movie Fights.
Well, welcome back to part 2 of the Joker
Okay,
2
pause.
live stream extravaganza. Where we're
So, also, full disclosure, you have not seen this.
Yeah, I haven't.
You haven't seen the new one.
I haven't seen any of them.
That's true. You haven't seen any of them. We'll watch an old movie fights one of these days. But I wanted to get your opinion on it because you're unbiased in this completely. Like, you didn't know the old... I generally don't like... See, again, I have to be unbiased here. I generally don't like reboots in principle after the, creator leaves. I think that applies to Marvel or...
I always like reboots.
I know you do.
I always like the movies and shows people don't like.
I think once, Stan Lee left Marvel and...
Oh, it went downhill, for sure. But I still like it.
After George Lucas left Star Wars and Lucasfilm, the quality just dips. Once the creator isn't there, the original, foundation and idea of what it is and is supposed to be is gone, and you don't have that voice in the room, I think it just inevitably, crumbles.
Right.
You feel differently, however, though. You like taking multiple swings at the fence.
I don't know why. I just like newer versions of things.
So you might like this. But that's how I paused. I apologize, everybody. I paused because, right off the bat, I'll be unbiased. The set, much better looking than that soulless pod person version that they had after they fired him.
Yeah, that's true.
At least they got some cool shit in the background. It's not Andy's toys. I hope that they didn't take his toys and keep them. That would be super fucked up.
Yeah, it's like they, I don't know, updated it.
I don't know, man. I feel bad for Andy. I feel like he got a really fucking bad rep. Especially when I heard the story about, how this was, based on a game he played when he was 8. I was like, dude, you can't steal an 8-year-old's dream. Especially when he didn't do anything.
Right.
Anyway, that's all I wanted to say. I also like that they got the intro back. The intro back was cool.
Right.
But again, with no Andy, this feels like friends reuniting several years after that they killed somebody, after they killed their friend. So it's it's cool that you're all getting back together, but...
It's like Scary Movie 1. There's Scary Movie 1, what the I Know What You Did Last Summer.
It just feels like... I don't know what you meant by that, and honestly, I'm too high to... like an ask. But, no, they killed Andy, and now they're gonna pretend like they didn't have a jolly good time. So let's watch it. Also, one other thing, much shorter.
Nope, just kidding.
You vixen. So this is much shorter than the movie fights used to be. The movie fights used to be a good hour and a half. And man,
Yeah.
I sat through them fuckers. Those were my comfort food.
You love sitting through boring shit.
It's not. Well, you can't say it's boring, boo. You've never watched them.
I know, but you know.
No, you know how people play watch game shows and shit and play
Yeah,
along
and I don't know
and,
how they do that either.
and they play at home and they're like, God, I could go on this show and win.
Yes.
That's how I was with movie fights. I was I would rule at this show. I would beat Dan Murrell. I would take that fucking belt. Press play.
bringing back a little old movie fight, but You know what? Why am I talking? There's a lot of empty room at the desk.
Don't you need a host for this movie?
Pause.
All right.
Worst choice for a host. Worst one. A little backstory, according to my anonymous source. Hal was not Andy's choice for a host. Andy didn't really like the feel of Hal on that show. He was picked because he's funny. And, like, he's a good television personality, but he's not a nerd guy, if that makes sense. Like,
Yeah.
Andy wanted nerds on that show. People that, like, legitimately, like, were fans of the shit that they were debating. Because they would debate it passionately. It was a fun game, but, like, they debated it passionately. Hal wasn't that guy. It was a weird energy that he brought to the show. Yeah. So, alrighty. Press play. Sorry for interrupting, but...
What's going on, folks? My name is Hal Rudnick, and we are going to have a barn burner of a Joker movie fight. That's right. Smoke 'em if you got 'em, just like the Joker. Or, you know, to put it in today's parlance, vape 'em if you got 'em. Why so serious? Let's jump into this. Okay, so first off, arguing about Joker Folie à Deux. He is a movie fights veteran, host of the greatest pod. It's Ed Greer.
Hey!
Ed Greer, great to have you here. Next up, you've seen her on GameSpot and Fandom Entertainment. She is also a lover of Goosebumps. Come on, who isn't? Bailey Myers.
Press pause.
Hi, hello.
Good point so far made by him, though. Who isn't a fan of Goosebumps, right?
Yeah,
What's your favorite Goosebumps?
the vampire breath.
If you would have said Haunted Mask, I would have called you a basic bitch. I was like, you don't read Goosebumps, you just picked the most famous one. You lying trash. But no, you picked Vampire Breath. I didn't like Vampire Breath at all.
I know, and I like it.
I hate Vampire Breath. We're gonna have our own movie fights about Goosebumps.
I also love The Night of the Living Dummy 3.
That's a classic.
It's great.
All right, press play.
Great to see you, Bailey. And this next gentleman needs no introduction, so let's just jump into it. All right. I'm kidding. Last but not least, he is the head writer of Honest Trailers and one of the last original... Oh, he is the last original Screen Junkie standing.
They're all gone.
They all are in their graves, just like the... can we spoil the movie on this?
Pause.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, please.
Just like the Joker is now.
Just like Andy said, they're all in their I'm sorry. Popcorn Queefs the psycho decided to roll a blunt on top of the edibles we took. And she's fucking forcing it down my throat
Oh,
right now.
you fucking lie. You lie. Well, do you have something you'd like to add?
Not really. Just that I thought that joke Hal made, I know Hal's known for his comedy, but I thought that joke about the all the original movie fights guys being in their graves was in really bad taste, considering they backstabbed and murdered their friends.
That's facts.
All right.
My old pal, Spencer Gilbert.
Great to see you, Hal.
Spencer Gilbert, great to see you here. So, we don't have a fact checker today. And so I'm just going to ask, keep it above board, no fibbing, no lying, and just make it convincing. Okay? So I won't know the difference. Commit to your argument. And also, if you make me laugh, extra points for that. A couple of rules. This is a one and done round, so give it everything you got. And whoever wins this round will meet a special final boss in a speed round. All right,
Press
so
pause.
good luck with.
Spoiler alert, it's Dan Murrell. They brought back Dan Murrell. See, I'm really hand shy to like play this entire video. One, because it's like, are we really going to sit in silence like throughout the majority of this? And two, I feel like that they might strike us for copyright. I don't know.
Well, you also say pause every 30 seconds, so...
Well, they fucking hate on us. Like, we can't do shit on here. Like, we can't play clips of songs, nothing.
I have one thing to say about the host.
Sure. His name's Hal.
I'll stick with the host.
Put some respect on his name.
You can suck it.
Oh.
All right? Anyway.
I'm gonna kill that cat, by the way, in the background. The cat is our cat is a crackhead. Go ahead, Boo. I'm sorry.
Anyway, the way he jokes, they're very much like he's reaching, and it reminds me of Kamala Harris. Trying to joke, and she thinks it's so funny, but nobody else laughs.
Let's not make this political. This isn't gonna be political, okay? Everybody's talking about Project 2025. I don't know. I read it. I'm barely in it.
It was a huge deal.
It was a huge deal, but I wasn't in it, so it stinks. Everything without me stinks. So I'm going to make a new project. One with me in it. It's going to be super duper. I call it Project 2026. All right, press play.
This, because you're going to need it. Let's jump into the question, folks. Wow.
Come on. Let's get nuts.
Question one, and the one and only question.
The thing.
Stop this fight, I'll show you. I could do this all day.
There we go. You get it? We're gonna fight. Okay. Here's the question. Joker, Folie à Deux, has left a lot of filmgoers unsatisfied. A little bit of a bad taste in their mouth. So, we ask you, what would be a better conclusion to Arthur Fleck's story? Here's your chance to pitch us a better ending to Joker 2. Let's start off with the man immediately to my left, Ed Green.
I heard that movie sucked.
Did you?
I heard terrible things about Joker too.
It would be more impressive if you heard from somebody that it was good. Everybody hated that movie.
I know. Made me not even want to give it a try.
Tim Dillon hated that movie, and he was in it.
Okay, how much time do we have? 1 minute?
As long as you want.
Okay, fine, forget it.
You know what?
Okay.
I'll say TikTok if it's dragging.
Okay, gotcha, okay. Look, I'm going to commit to what Todd Phillips did. I'm going to commit to his vision, okay? He's a deconstructionist at heart. At the end of that movie, he sets up a character that could conceivably grow into his own Joker by slashing his own mouth after he stabs
I feel like
Arthur.
we didn't really say what actually happens at the end. Give him a quick recap of that.
The courtroom blows up, and then Joker stumbles into the street, gets picked up by some dudes who are going to conceivably be his gang or whatever, but he rejects them almost instantly, runs to the classic steps, meets Harley, says he doesn't want to be the Joker anymore. Harley says, "Psh, what do we need you for if you're not the Joker?" Bounces on him. He's like, damn. Then he gets arrested, put back into prison. Then he gets stabbed up by a dude who then, after he stabs him, after telling him a stupid joke and stabbing him, he cuts his own mouth and starts laughing maniacally as the Joker dies. That's the ending. Okay, now my time will
Nicely
commence.
done.
Now my time will
Pause.
commence.
You've literally told me the actual...
Spoiler alert for
Thanks for the warning, bro.
for anybody that hasn't seen Joker 2.
Not that I was gonna watch it anyway.
What did you think of his pitch?
Like how fast he did it? What do you mean?
You didn't even listen to what he said, did you?
About the movie?
Yeah.
I heard him tell the end of the movie.
No, he's pitching a worse Joker 2 than what we saw. See, we don't get it because we didn't watch Joker 2.
Yeah. Oh.
We're horrible movie critics. We knew it was shit. And we saw it, honestly, we saw a few previews of it when we went to go see other movies, and we were both...
But it looked good, I thought.
You thought that looked good?
Yeah.
Oh, I knew it was going to be shit.
Well, I never even seen the first one.
Oh, okay.
People
well, that's
say it
probably
ruined
why.
the first one for them, though. Like, watching
See,
the second one.
as soon as I heard that, I was like, I don't want to watch it then.
Yeah.
Because Joker 1 was dope as fuck. Like, Joker 1 should have just been its own movie. It was basically Taxi Driver, but with the Joker. Like, it didn't...
I don't know what Taxi Driver is.
Taxi Driver was a movie with Robert De Niro back in the day. It's about this guy who's slowly he's a taxi driver, and he picks up Jodie Foster, who plays a young prostitute. She's like 13, 14 years old. She plays a really young
Damn.
Yeah, and the movie is basically him like driving her around, and he's like slowly like... It's really good to look into like the the psychological state of just an average guy who sees a lot of fucked up shit, and eventually it breaks him. Like, society made the Joker, or Taxi Driver, depending on which one you're
Right.
looking at it. And yeah, it's a great story.
So they're just pitching better endings?
Yeah, did I say worse? I meant better. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the
So
fight.
that's what he just did, because his ending sounded all right.
Oh, there you go.
I thought it sounded pretty good.
Well,
That he
okay.
cut his his cheeks
Well, I just
like the Joker.
yeah,
I don't know. I just thought that was pretty cool, but I don't know how it actually ended. So,
not good.
well, obviously,
Let's just assume these are better endings.
well, it says better ending.
There you go. It's right in the title. I'd like to give another fun fact about movie fights. Back when it started, it was they actually shot it out of a fixed studio early on. Defy Media, the company that owns Screen Junkies, got a cash advance from YouTube to invest in like more content. Probably fix the studio up too.
Nice,
Yeah, now is what it is. But
makes sense.
yeah, all right.
So you don't know if it would have ended up like this if Andy was there or not. I don't think it'd be like this. I think it would be more like his 8-year-old self.
I think that's a good question. Like, what would movie fights look like today? Would he have kept the studio? Would he have changed it?
Maybe like updated it, but kept the same vibe.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
You should go on Popcorn Planet and ask him. Go on his Twitter.
So I can get attacked by people that think I know him. even though I don't.
No. I think the shit about Andy has probably died down for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's just like every single like accusation this guy gets thrown at this guy, it turns out to be untrue. I mean, eventually the guy has to catch a break. I mean, he's going on Piers Morgan. Like, he's definitely on the upward swing. Like, they should have him back. Like, stop being dicks.
For real.
Have Andy back on. The show needs Andy. I
Swallow
think.
y'all's pride.
Yeah, it would just be great closure too. Like,
Right.
It's not like you said, he doesn't have to come back, and who knows if he even wants to. He's moved on with his life, but I think it would be like good to like have the creator there back, especially after everything.
Right.
Yeah, but I don't know.
Especially after they took his show and just acted like he had nothing to do with it.
Yeah, man, they could have. I don't know.
Changed the name or something when they updated it.
Yeah, I guess. Well, they
Well, you know what I
canceled
mean.
it. Well, they canceled it eventually. Like, this is like the first time it came back in a while.
I know, but to still call it the same thing is a little...
Well, they own
Fucked
it.
up.
Yeah, they own it. Unfortunately, Honest Trailers too. Honest Trailers was like his idea.
I don't know what that is.
Yes, you do. We've watched Honest Trailers before.
You show me a lot.
Well, I watch a lot of YouTube.
I know, so I can't remember it all.
I'm a YouTube junkie.
I know you are.
All right, press play.
Ending instead of pitching a new one.
I asked.
He said quick recap. Okay, now my time will start. Now look, given that ending of what Todd wanted to do, all I'm doing is a little tweak. I'm doing Todd's vision. The Joker is in the car after the explosion of the courtroom. The Joker gang guys grab him up, they put him in the car. He is in the car with them, and then he thinks, maybe I'm going to reject them, maybe I'm not going to. And then a black socked fist punches through the side window, cutting himself almost fatally, probably, punching one of the guys. The other driver gets out of the car and runs away, and we see these two arms pull Arthur Fleck out of the back seat. And it is a guy in like the worst Batman suit of all time. He's got like socks on his hands instead of gauntlets. He's got wonky ears. He looks so stupid. His black eye makeup is showing and it's running down his mouth because he's so sweaty. And he's kind of fat. And he grabs Arthur and he goes, "I've been waiting my whole life for an enemy like you." And he grabs him and throws him in a 1957 Chevy, those ones with the fins on the side. And it's all
Adam West.
And it's all murdered out in black. And he throws Joker in there and he takes him to a dank warehouse cave sort of situation in a basement. And he ties him up and he starts punching him and he goes, "One day you'll be tough enough to fight me." And he starts punching him and beating the shit out of him. And that whole scene I said of him.
I was
This
gonna
sounds-
ask you, what do you think?
This sounds like the worst Batman movie ever made.
It sounds like a homemade movie.
Yeah. No, keep Batman out of Joker.
The
completely.
generic version.
No, I'm telling you, Joker 1 was Taxi Driver, but with Joker. And I know you don't get that reference because you haven't seen Taxi Driver, but that's what it fucking was. And like, yeah, it didn't even feel like a DC movie. It felt like a real movie, but with a guy who wore Joker paint, Joker makeup. Anyway, press play.
yanking the Joker out of the car. That is seen on a helicopter. And way in Wayne Manor, a young Bruce Wayne is looking at that guy going, that seems like a pretty good idea. And then we cut out.
Press pause.
Got it. Okay.
Okay. My only problem with that was that's basically it. That kind of already happened, but just differently. There was a show back in the day called Gotham.
Yeah, I know.
And it was about you seen it? And
No,
okay.
but I know.
Bruce Wayne was like a little kid, and there was an episode where Bruce Wayne was with Jim Gordon, and he saw a guy like a vigilante, like you know how Batman will like shoot up to the ceiling and escape through like the top window. He'll like basically climb walls, like or hop to wall, in like a black cloak. That's what this vigilante did, and Bruce Wayne saw it as a kid and watched it, and the implication being that inspired him that day to like kind of go for that. So that concept actually happened already. I don't think that guy's stealing it. I think it's just
Right.
parallel thinking, but just for the record, that did happen.
You're talking about the show with where the Joker is the guy from Shameless, right?
Yeah. Cameron Monaghan.
Yeah, no, I haven't seen it. I heard it was good.
I really am a nerd the way I can just spit out knowledge like this. Keep in mind, people, I ate an edible and smoked a blunt. So, all right, press play.
Hey, wow, quite a journey there. I like the tie-in to the Batman universe. Nicely done, Ed. Bailey, hit us with what
Press
you got.
pause.
All right. I
My
also
gosh.
want.
I'm sorry, but Hal really isn't a nerd. Like, he's like, I like the tie-in there with the Batman. Who doesn't know that the Joker is already in the... It's not a tie-in. Joker is in the Batman universe.
Right.
Who doesn't know that?
That's like common knowledge for anybody.
Hal sucks at nerd shit. I'm sorry. Press play.
To take what Todd Phillips did and just keep doing it, but better and more effectively. I think he needs to commit more to it being a musical. We need a big, bombastic musical finale.
What?
We have had a musical about a murderer in prison who has a courtroom scene. And you know how that one ends? With them winning an Oscar. But more importantly, with the Hot Honey Rag, it was Chicago. Chicago's incredible. Have Arthur get off scot-free. Have the defense work. Make him go on tour with Harley Quinn. The dream sequences are no longer dream sequences. They're real. He's doing fun comedy musical bits about the people he murdered who are, I don't know, behind him like backup dancers, but like in Les Mis, you know? The dead people all show up at the end of Les Mis. Do that too. And then also, you can even put it on a mountaintop. Do a Sound of Music finale. All the musicals that he's been wanting to reference, he finally references this in this one big, giant, bombastic finale that concludes it the way a musical is concluded. Everyone shows up and sings the big final number, and we learn
Press
a lesson
pause.
or we don't, whatever.
For the record, Disney will hire her to be their writer. There's someone from Disney who probably is going to watch this and they're going to be like, oh my God, she needs to do season 2 of She-Hulk. What's your take so far?
I don't think it should be a musical.
It was.
Well, I don't think it should be.
That's probably why it sucked.
Oh, well, that's dumb.
She wants to make it more of a musical.
I know, like,
She wants to go Chicago with it. For
yeah.
the Moulin Rouge style Batman.
Yeah, I'm not with it.
All right, press play.
And then they win an Oscar. That's how that went last time.
That's
The
just math.
climactic, best song, best musical performance, some kind of Oscar is going to go to that sequence, according to Bailey Myers.
Exactly.
Spencer, where are you at on this new ending?
All right, I got a pitch for you. It's a lot like Ed's. But there's some subtle differences. So, Joker's going to give his final speech, his closing arguments. He's still in Foghorn Leghorn mode, which is another thing I actually liked about the movie. I always love a good Southern lawyer imitation. That'll always be on me. The bomb goes off before he can renounce being the Joker.
Press pause.
He is dragged out of there. It's a more...
I like this Southern impression. It was a good one. What do you think? You're a Southerner.
Yeah, I didn't think it was great.
Oh no, were you offended?
No.
He made y'all look like sound like a bunch of hillbillies.
Well,
Action.
can you see how I talk?
I'm sorry, I'm just talking shit to Popcorn Quiz. Truth be told, he did a pretty good Southern accent. It was very classy.
Yeah, that's not how it sounds. You're like talking about the Southern people you see in the movies that are like, oh, sweet tea and biscuits.
That's how I think of Southerners.
Well, you're with one, and I don't talk like that.
No, but I can see you sitting out at like a patio table or something, or a big yard where people were like riding horses in the background. And
Oh my gosh.
Those funny outfits, smacking the side of them with their leather straps.
No! No, that is not it. You're talking about like slave days.
I'm talking about a plantation.
Yeah, literally.
I'm imagining. Why, this coffee ain't worth a hill of beans. Not a hill of beans. Press play.
Coordinated extraction of him rather than kind of the random violence that it was in the movie. And he's taken to see the ringleader of the Joker gang. It is a it's a tween Bruce Wayne. I'm going to be real. Bruce Wayne's been Joker-fied, you guys. He's been Joker-pilled.
Whoa.
If this movie is about the effect that the Joker's had on society out at large, whose prime age and influence to be sucked up in that, but like a little, whatever version of an iPad kid there was in, what year is this? 70...
81
Elseworlds, yeah, exactly. So Bruce Wayne has been Joker-fied. He's got a whole gang of Jokers down in the caves below his house because he's a basement dweller. Each clown is subtly referencing a different version of the Joker, like makeup style. Like it's kind of like a Heath Ledger-ish looking one. Maybe you can't get Heath Ledger, but maybe you could get like one of them to come back.
Little Deadpool, I like it.
Yeah, it's cinematic Jokerverse, if you will.
Yes. Cesar Romero.
And
Chris
Harley.
Pons.
So Harley has been working on the...
Did he say in this Batman's been Joker-fied?
Yes.
So, like, Batman becomes the Joker?
I wasn't sure. That wasn't clear to me. Because then he said he has a bunch of Jokers down in his Batcave that look like all different kinds of Jokers. I don't know. I don't know.
Because that is a... Because Batman does become Joker-fied in the comics. He's the Batman who laughs.
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and what he's describing about where there's other Jokers in the animated series, Joker's laughing gas would kind of turn them into Jokers. He did that to Tim Drake in the Batman Beyond movie. So I don't know. I guess I'm just adding to the conversation. We're not going to do this whole video, are we?
I didn't think so.
I think we're going to see who's the winner of this fight, because I think the winner of this fight goes on to fight Dan Muro. And then after that, yeah, whatever.
Yeah. No, I don't need to watch all that.
We'll figure it out as we go along.
Not if you keep pausing.
Sorry.
outside with little Bruce Wayne to kind of assemble this Joker gang that he's going to inherit, and they're going to build their mountain. They're going to get their revenge on whatever. But
I just want to apologize for the background noise. We have psycho cats.
Oh my God, they're in a mood tonight, aren't
they are being so playful and noisy.
Oh man, at least Milky stopped howling. Jesus.
For now.
Oh, God.
For now.
God.
Now Sherbert's interested in what she's doing.
I'm glad she's
playing with the boxes.
I'm glad she's getting warmed up to the new place, but this is so unprofessional of us.
That's why I'm apologizing now.
What if people are like legitimately listening to this for a review and we just got cats howling in the background? Sound like a couple
playing in boxes.
Doing reviews for free on YouTube. Which, by the way, I should take this time to remind everybody we still have that $1 goal. Nobody has yet to pay it.
I didn't know you ended up funding it out.
It was what we decided last time. It was $1.
Oh, you said you were just talking about it. You didn't tell me you did it.
Oh, well, let's be clear here. We have a $1 goal, and people should be offering to pay that to us.
$1, y'all.
You give more than that to the homeless on the street.
Literally, you have that in your pockets when you wash laundry.
You don't have a dollar for poor old popcorn farts.
What about me?
And popcorn queefs.
I need my 50 cents.
Popcorn queefs needs 50 cents too, please. Spare some change.
Spare change.
We're just humble YouTubers trying to make content. You won't spare $1? You won't help us reach our goal?
Just 4 quarters.
4
10
quarters.
dimes,
10
or 20 nickels. Or 100 pennies.
I was just going to say, you don't have 100 pennies later.
They got that in their car code. Like
You
their
have,
car
you
code.
have. Maybe you guys could all just chip in and get us $1.
100 of you just send us 1 cent.
1 cent.
I
You
know
have-
that won't break the bank.
Just take that. Just take that right hand of yours and just put it in your front pocket. I'm sure you got a penny in there.
Maybe 2.
Maybe 2. Oh, I'll press play.
Just like in the film, Joker's not innovative because he's Arthur. You know, he's not. He just wants to smash with Harley, and he's just like, I can't do this. I just want to be with you. I just want to run away. They see that he's not committed to the vision, and you have a similar ending where Joker is killed by the Joker, but it's a whole swarm of people who've been Jokerfied, Joker pilled. Just taking the Joker's message too far and taking it too literally. They're all, you know, like Caesar style, stabbing him and beating him to death along with a
press
teenage
pause.
Bruce Wayne. It's an Elseworld story. Bruce Wayne's the leader.
Oh, maybe he's getting into it. Maybe he's gonna get into the Batman Who Laughs. But again, that was a storyline in Gotham. Joker had a cult.
Of Jokers or just in general?
People who were like inspired by him, and yeah, so that actually was a storyline. Again,
He's just taking bits and pieces from all kinds of things and meshing them into one of his ideas.
see, I don't know if he's not taking it seriously, or if he's just having like severe parallel thinking. But if these, and maybe I'm wrong, because again, I popped an edible in this, whatever, I'm high, but it sounds to me like these are supposed to be original endings, right?
It just says pitch a better ending. It doesn't necessarily
Can they
say
do
it's their
that?
original idea.
Can they do that? Can they just take someone else's ideas and just merge it into their own?
I mean, why not?
Man.
They're just saying this would have been a better ending.
Well,
They're not saying I came up with this idea all on my own.
Well, this is where the judge should step in and start clarifying on the rules. But Hal doesn't know shit about any of this, so
There's no shit about shit.
yeah, Hal's just listening and he's like, "Huh, you included Batman in your Joker story? That's original."
As far as he knows.
Yeah, he doesn't give a fuck. All right, press play.
The Joker gang now. Nobody gets what they want in this life, and I think that's one of
All
the
right,
messages.
rewriting everything. Listen, if Harley Quinn doesn't have to be a psychiatrist in this movie and meet him a different way, mix it up, fight it out. What do you dislike about each other's arguments?
No, okay. I want to start with how brilliant Spencer's is.
Oh,
For real.
thank you, Ed.
It's even more of an FU than mine would be, which is incredible. Because I thought I was all the way to the edge, but you're just like, no, Bruce Wayne is the Joker?
In this movie, why not?
Oh, I mean, that's Todd
solid.
Phillipsian.
Yeah.
You just weren't going Jokered enough. I mean, I love. I think you. I like yours, Ed, but I think that it's too much of a level of removal to have Bruce Wayne just observing. You know, to be back.
Yeah.
If there's one thing people know about the Joker, he's a clown that hates Batman or fights Batman. He's the clown that fights Batman. You stop someone on the street, that's what they're going to know about the Joker.
I want to hear from Bailey. Bailey, you pitched a new ending to the musical. The movie is a musical. Will you sing a little bit of your ending for us?
I would love to. Thank you, Hal.
Absolutely. Got to give the people what they want. to
Great.
paraphrase
Press
the movie.
pause.
What a cool setup for me.
First of all, we don't know that the people want this. So bold of him to assume that. I am so confused. Is this supposed to be the worst ending or the best ending?
It says better ending, but so far, not living up to that.
See, another thing I don't like about Hal is Hal really isn't interjecting himself too much in this conversation. Like back in the old movie fights days, Andy and Dan would have had a full blown conversation about the details and intricacies of all
As they
this shit.
should.
Well, of course, because it's a nerd show. It's for a fucking nerd audience, and I'm a nerd and I'm lost right now. I'm lost in the woods. If it's the worst Batman, if it's the worst endings for Joker, none of these are really that bad except for the musical.
It says pitch a better ending.
Well, see, if it's a better ending, then it's almost even worse because a lot of their ideas are like ideas from other fucking Batman shit. And Hal doesn't know the difference either. So, all right, press play.
I'll back you up, Bailey, if you want to do a fully
These two are just like on a love fest, like we're on the same vibe, and you're like, Bailey, why don't you sing us a little song? That's cool.
Press
We can
pause.
give people. Let's do.
Listen.
She makes a fair point. They are being incredibly nice to each other for a movie fight. Not saying that they have to rip each other's heads off, but some of those old movie fights got a little heated.
Really?
Yeah, there was this one guy, I can't remember his name. He was like a heavy set guy. He met The Rock. Like they actually like got The Rock. He was a huge fan of The Rock. And they got like The Rock, Dwayne The Rock Johnson, to come to his wedding.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, dude. Like
That's awesome.
Yeah, he was on there. I can't remember his name, but he wasn't bad, man. I kind of liked him on movie fights. He was entertaining. He debated Elijah Wood because there was like, what was the better franchise, Star Wars or Lord of the Rings? And it was interesting to hear him argue how Star Wars was better than Lord of the Rings to Elijah Wood, because Elijah Wood was Frodo in Lord of the Rings, you know?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they would do that sometimes with celebrities. Like Seth Rogen came on one time, and they had to debate what was the better bad movie, Green Hornet or Spider-Man 3.
The better movie?
They're
The worst movie?
They were both bad movies.
No, I love Spider-Man 3.
I know. Spider-Man 3 is definitely a better movie than Green Hornet. But
The one with Seth Rogen?
Seth Rogen's Green Hornet, yeah.
Yeah.
So he also wrote it. But yeah, the debate was if it's in the like $1 bin at Walmart, which one are you grabbing? Green Hornet or Spider-Man?
Oh, Spider-Man 3.
I know, but like...
But I liked Spider-Man 3, and I didn't care for Green Hornet.
But like the other guy who was like debating him was arguing for Spider-Man 3, but he had to tell like Seth Rogen to his face why Green Hornet sucked, and he was having a really hard time doing it. So Seth Rogen won the argument.
Oh, damn.
And Green Hornet got decided better than Spider-Man 3
What?
in that particular debate. Well, the guy dropped the ball massively because it was hard to like shit talk Seth Rogen to Seth Rogen.
Right.
It was a very funny episode. But, yeah, I don't think we're going to get any of that in this. So, press play.
Okay.
Chicago from heart, but we can all do it.
If you are pitching a song from Chicago, you gotta give us a little medicine dropper of it.
Well, okay, I know they do this dance a lot at the end, so thank you, Zach. That's very good. That really adds to the
Love it. Love that.
I think that Todd Phillips didn't commit enough to he has big emotions and sings every time. The only emotions he seems to have are I love Harley Quinn so much. What if he has a sad one?
What if he has
Press
a sad
pause.
one?
I will say that probably a better ending to the Joker 2 from what I've heard. I have heard nothing but horrible things about Joker 2. See, this actually is an interesting movie fight, because it's like, I don't think you can make Joker 2 any worse than it was from what I've heard. And I also don't think like you'd have to do a lot to make it better.
Right.
I don't know if more musical numbers are the right way to go, though, man.
Sometimes a good ending, though, makes you forget how the rest of the movie sucked.
I thought Beetlejuice 2 had too much music in it.
Oh, I hated the musical at the end.
It was
Spoiler alert.
It was very confusing. I have a review of Beetlejuice 2 on my channel. You guys should go check it out after this. That was before you started doing it with me, Princess.
Liar.
That was like my second one, I think.
I'll fight you.
We watched Beetlejuice 2 together.
Yeah, so we should have reviewed it together, you hoe.
We got our popcorn buckets. Popcorn farts. Alright, press play.
See? You just included you again and not me.
Popcorn queefs.
I'll kill you.
Stop threatening to kill me.
I will
on air.
kill you.
I love that. Thank you.
Wait, can we have a little Yentl interlude? Joker, can you hear me?
I would have liked a little bit of a Little Shop of Horrors. Suddenly, Arthur.
It's just, it felt like Todd Phillips knew one big emotion, and it was being horny for a woman.
A classic emotion.
It's just, I don't know, when you get your heartbreak, when his friend died, he should have sang a sad little song. Why didn't he sing a sad little song then?
Right. Press pause.
You didn't do a musical in your final act, Todd
Spoiler
Phillips, I swear to
alert.
God.
And I also agree that
Press pause.
I tried.
Spoiler alert. Joker's friend dies. Got anything to add?
No,
Okay.
I was just gonna keep watching.
Oh, I'm sorry. How are you liking movie fights though so far?
Oh, it's okay.
You
I
like
mean,
it?
I think I would like it better if it was about like a movie I've seen.
Yeah, that's true. We haven't seen Joker 2.
So it's like it'd be funner because you could compare them. Like, because maybe their ideas are a lot better. Maybe it sucked that bad, like people say it did. Like, but we don't know.
Oh, it bombed at the box office.
Well, still,
Yeah.
we don't know if their endings are better or equivalently bad.
Make no mistake, Joker 2 was a critical and financial failure in every sense of the word. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. They should have picked a movie like people have seen, I think.
Well, people have seen it, but part
Did
of it,
they?
they walked out of the theater.
Did they? Did people see Joker 2 or did they go on YouTube and watch all the hate reviews of it? Because some movies are just like that now.
If you had to walk out of the theater because the movie was so bad, would you ask for your money back? Or would you just leave and go home?
I would just sit and watch the rest of the movie.
Well, say you walked out. I didn't have, that wasn't an option. The option is the one I gave you.
What's the option again?
If the movie was so bad that you ended up walking out, would you ask for your money back?
And I'm walking out before the movie ends?
Yeah, say it's like halfway through.
Yeah, I definitely get my money back.
What if they said, no, because you watched half the movie. I can't help that the movie's bad. We're keeping our money. Go fuck yourself.
I'd piss and moan for a minute, but then I'd be like, I'm going to see another one then. Like, you're making
Oh,
up for...
that's smart.
I'd be like, I don't even know if I'd tell him at all. I think I'd just go to another movie.
True, you wouldn't even have to go say anything. You could just see if another movie's playing.
Really, I shouldn't be saying this, folks, because it's like, I'm rooting for AMC. But once you buy a ticket to a movie, you can just pretty much stay there all day if you wanted to. And just keep watching movies.
They don't check.
They don't give a fuck, Keisha. Press play.
The movie could have had a little better on the nose. The songs are so on the nose. Just like after he bangs Harley, then he gets beat up in the shower or whatever, and they kick him in the head, and ain't that a kick in the head?
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, come on, get nuts! If you're going to be that on the jukebox, get on the jukebox.
Give us a little
to reflect
get
his-
nut. You want to get nuts? Let's get
You
nuts.
want to get nuts?
I like yours, Bailey. I do think it was missing the big musical number, but I think it should have been like a slightly different tact and maybe done something from the early oddies, like a Papa Roach or a Limp Bizkit or something that could kind of justify him turning into the damaged Joker that we know and love.
And what about some meta stuff like Hal said off air? We could do little Lady Gaga busting a Bad Romance.
Oh, Bad Romance would be, yeah, there you
know
go.
what I mean?
Smash that fourth wall.
Yeah, why doesn't she just?
Or they're
sing?
leaving
Oh,
the
yeah.
courtroom, a little paparazzi.
Yeah.
Could just, I mean, Joker face is right there.
Yeah.
The thing about
Press pause.
singing in a courtroom that's all.
If I was the host, I would have disqualified all of them right then and there.
Why?
Because that's not how you break the fourth wall. Remember in Deadpool when Nice Pool turned to the camera and he said,
The proposal?
I can break the fourth wall too. The proposal. What they're pitching is literally that scenario for the Joker. Where Lady Gaga turns to the camera and she
Says
said,
Bad Romance.
oh my God, can you imagine if she turned to the Joker and she said, I don't know if I can truly love you because, and then turns to the camera and says, this is a bad romance. Oh.
That would be so cringe.
I'd demand my money back. I'd go see 3 other movies and still want my money back.
And free popcorn.
Oh, of course. I'd be like, what the fuck did you have me just watch? Who do I write to like, I don't write angry letters anymore, but like, I'm going to write my first one.
Strongly worded letter.
I'm going to write a strongly worded letter to those cunts at Warner Brothers. Where's David Zaslav? I'd like to have a fucking word. Press play.
Always going to get me. And this might just be me because it's not a huge... This crowd probably knows Cop Rock. Do we know Cop Rock at this table?
I know the reference. I think I've seen part of an episode. A singing cop show that got canceled after one season.
Yes.
One season, you say? That's surprising.
An entire season, though. No, someone's on the first episode of this and said, yes, don't pause this. Don't leave this video, but write down on your notepad next to your laptop, Cop Rock. And after this, go watch Cop Rock because it's a courtroom drama where the emotions of the courtroom get so high that the entire jury has to get up and be like, guilty, he's guilty, we think this guy's guilty. And that it doesn't stop there. It's got like 6 episodes. I think they're all on YouTube, and it is definitely worth your time. Better than Joker 2.
Pretty cavalier way to sentence a man to life in prison.
I say defund Cop Rock.
Defund Cop Rock.
All right,
Press pause.
time.
All right, we're about almost 14 minutes in. So
Well, I just want to compliment Hal because that line was actually pretty clever. Like, it didn't make me ha. He's like, I want to defund Cop Rock. Like, that was a sassy little joke. I appreciate those. I can see why they would want him on movie fights on occasion because he is funny. And, God, he does throw off the whole vibe of the room, though, because he's not a nerd. But, like, he is funny enough to, like, have value there, you know? But definitely not as the host.
right.
Like, it's fucked up that he's the host, man. Especially, like the story I heard now, like...
Should be like a special appearance kind of.
Well, that's how it was back in the day. He wouldn't be on all the time. Like, he would just make, like, sporadic appearances. But all right, press play. I think he's going to get to who the... we're going to find out. Let's listen to make sure, like, what this category was supposed to be, because we forgot.
Okay.
Wow. What a huge throwdown that was. I hope no one had a point locked and loaded that they didn't get to. Great. So I love all of these endings better than the actual ending of the film. So congrats on that. Y'all were entertaining. You all presented great arguments. Spencer, you had me on this army of jokers, like coming and like out and like.
This will be somewhat entertaining to hear because Hal doesn't know nerd shit, so it'll be interesting to see which one he picks.
Which one? Let's say now. Which one do you think he'll pick?
Good call, boo. Good call. Give me a kiss for that. My princess gets kisses when she has good ideas.
I think he'll pick. Well, I guess I would pick that guy right there, but I don't. I feel like he's gonna pick the other guy.
The buff looking daddy with the glasses?
Yeah, but I think he's gonna pick the other guy.
I think he's gonna pick the chick. He shouldn't, because I think Spencer had the best one. Just because
the other guy?
Yeah, because like an army of jokers was Gotham. They did that in Gotham and it was good, so I know that one works.
Right.
But I think he's gonna pick the chick just because he doesn't know what is happening, and
I think Spencer's is too much for a Joker movie.
Really?
Yeah, I just feel like it doesn't fit in.
Well, not with Todd Phillips' Joker, because there should have never been a sequel to that in the first place. The first Joker was, it was a good movie. Like it was an excellent film.
Right.
Okay, press play.
Killing their hero who kind of betrayed them, but then you really lost me when you said, oh, it was like the other movie Jokers. That kind of pulled the rug out from under the universe a little bit. Bailey, I really I love the Chicago vibes and the busting into the big bombastic musical number, jazz hands, but it was a little more of the same-ish because the musical aspect, I think we all agree that they didn't make the most of it tonally. It was kind of the same. I think we're kind of sick of his take on the musical by the end, even though yours is a nice upswing in tone. It wasn't my favorite of the arguments. Mine was Ed's because we all were... I think it whets our appetite. We want to see, these little Easter eggs for Batman. So that ending, it gave me Split Unbreakable vibes when we see Bruce Willis sitting in the diner at the end of Split, and it's like, yes, that's what I'm here for. I'm like, oh, yeah, show us like the early incarnation of the Dark Knight. Now the world's coming together, and like, wow, I sat through that 2 hours and 20 minutes. Worthwhile. So, hoot, hoot, Owl Nation. The victory goes to Ed Greer.
Jeez Louise.
Came up with that on the spot.
You won, boo.
Song
Yeah,
still
you
didn't
picked
win.
the right one.
Not like Todd Phillips in that way.
All right, press pause.
We'll give you a third.
Credit where credit's due. Hal went above my expectations. I really thought he was going to pick like the more musical Joker.
Right.
But he actually did pick the best one. Again, though, that story, like with the, I don't know, whatever. Good for Hal. And that's all I got. We just popped another edible. So, yeah, here we go. Press play.
How much were we watching?
We're about halfway through.
Yeah, I thought we weren't watching the whole thing.
Yeah, we'll skip ahead. I don't know. Once Dan gets on, I feel like we should listen to Dan. Because Dan was one of the originals. He was like the original champ, so.
So just play?
I guess so. I mean, this has been pretty fun, right? We've been having a good time. Just fuck it. Watch it.
7-minute standing ovation.
Oh, thank you. That's basically like spitting in my face.
Ed, your prize for winning this movie fight is going from the frying pan into the fire, because you are about to face, if you want to put on your earphones, please, the reigning movie fights champion of the world. You know him.
Okay, again, spoiler alert, it's Dan Murrell. I don't know why that they, wasn't Dan Murrell in the thumbnail of the video? Like, I'm pretty sure you see his picture in the video, so it's revealed right off the bat Dan Murrell was in this.
Oh, yeah, I don't remember.
And you don't even know who Dan Murrell is. So.
No, I wasn't there.
Dan Murrell is the original defending reigning movie fights champion. He's the one who would always win.
Oh, okay.
All right, press play.
You can press play.
Oh, okay. Well, you're the producer.
Is a Screen Junkies legend, the man, the myth, the champ, Dan Murrell. Ah!
Oh, hi there.
Yeah, Dan. Dan, great.
Okay,
That's Dan.
that's Dan Murrell. Apologies, this entire time of my life, I've always called him Dan Murrell. Maybe it's just a accent thing. Maybe it's just my Midwestern accent coming through. But Dan Murrell. Dan Murrell. Awesome Jaws poster in the background. I love it. I'm jealous of it. I have
Very old school.
I have a few movie posters myself. But I'm always looking for more. And yeah, I like Dan's.
I could paint it.
Could you really?
I could try.
Second, definitely do that. Second thing, Dan's calling in. That's such a disappointment. I guess Dan didn't want to return to the scene of the crime. There's probably a part of Dan that feels guilty.
Or he just probably figured there's no point in coming all the way in.
I don't know, man. Maybe it's just the times we live in, how they're different. But a Zoom movie fights just doesn't feel right to me. You know, a Zoom meeting movie fights where you're calling in. Like the whole point of the movie fights is to sit at the table together. You know,
Right.
Just like Andy did when he was fucking 8.
But Andy's not there anymore.
Andy's not there anymore, and yeah, damn shame. But Dan's calling in to. Great smile on Dan, by the way. But. Not even like being
Be
so
a good selfie.
That's an excellent selfie. I don't think Dan's single, but
Oh.
Dan, we're single. I would use that selfie on like every
Tinder.
That would make a great Tinder profile.
Jaws in the background. If she doesn't like Jaws, she's not the one for you.
Dude, that Tinder pic sends messages of success, happiness, stability. Like if I was, I'm not a lady.
Genuine.
I'm not a lady boy. But if I was, and I was on fucking Tinder, and I saw that picture, I would be like, who's that fella? I'd be like, he seems interesting. Maybe I'm biased because I'm a movie buff, but like the Jaws poster in the background, the $1 million smile. I don't know how like Defy Media hated this guy so much. Like he's clearly like, he could be a star. And Andy saw that. And then shit went down.
Well, let's see when he talks.
He'll kill it. I watched this I watched a little bit of it earlier, so I got a general sense of it. I didn't like it.
Of this video?
I wanted to see how long it was, and I wanted to see if we could like clip it in certain parts. But then I got lazy, and we did things yesterday, and I was like, "Fuck it, let's just have fun and watch the whole thing, or at least like decide where to go." I thought we would be able to skip around, but we kind of got into the debates a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, we made it our own thing and shit, but it had like little to nothing to do with like how they did it. But
Right.
I don't know, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Press play. Let's hear Dan kill it.
To see you, pal. Been too long. How are things going, my friend?
They are fantastic. It's like I'm calling in from Mars. This is fun.
Right on. So, you know the deal. Ed just won a single question movie fight, and his prize is to face the reigning champion in this 5-question speed round. Now, Dan, let me ask you a question. I don't think we talked about this. Is the belt on the line right now?
Where is the belt in general?
Or is this an exhibition?
You would know better than I would. I did bring a relic. I brought an antique. I have this one.
Nice.
It's very much worse for
Press
wear.
pause.
I don't know.
How fucked up would it be if Andy made that belt, too?
Oh my god.
I don't mean to laugh, but I mean, it's
Or
just
got it for him.
he did, dude. Like, I know he did that. Like, I don't know. Just all, you see what I mean? How it feels like morally wrong to like watch this show. It's like,
Yeah, I get it.
they gotta have Andy back. They gotta bring Andy back for at least one episode.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, press play.
I don't think it's on the line. I don't know.
It's in
if it was a belt
storage
match,
somewhere here.
exactly.
Okay, this is just an exhibition. Maybe we'll do
Pause.
this another time, and the belt will be on the line. And
Why would they show the belt and not have it be on the line? That's just a cock tease right there.
Well, he's not gonna give that up. He earned it.
Dude, this is like the first movie fights in fucking forever. Why wouldn't they have the belt on the line?
I don't know. I mean, I guess.
I wonder if they're going to make this a regular thing where they do movie fights. Like, it only has like 31,500 views, which is like fucking unimaginable for us. But for Screen Junkies, like, they used to get like 1 million, 2 million views on their fucking honest trailers.
Well, probably not the first episode. At first, it takes time.
Man, I'd have to go back and watch, but like the original movie fights, I think would garner like at least 500,000 views, like around there.
Okay.
They were definitely in the 100,000s by like after the first day or two. They were a lot more successful back in the day. They fell off,
Oh, okay.
but I don't know. Press play.
then, Dan, if you lose, which is a rare occasion, you'll have to FedEx the belt to
Oh,
somebody.
there you go.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Fair enough.
But the belt is not on the line. This is an exhibition just for bragging rights. Okay.
See, how's the fucking cock tease?
Let's jump into.
Remind me how much time they get. I'll keep time.
Okay. They each get 20 seconds.
Let's do 20. 20 and 20.
Let's do 20 seconds. They get 20 and 20. All right. Ed is player 1. Dan is player 2.
Do we get our 10-second rebuttals, or are we
Yes,
just
10
on a
second
on a
rebuttals.
20?
Yes, thank you,
What,
Dan.
to
Thank you,
answer
Dan.
each question?
All right,
Yes.
20 second initially, 10 second rebuttal. Here is the first question. What other movie villain's trial would make a better movie than Joker 2? Ed.
Well, whoever chimes in first gets their pick.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
All right, chime in with by saying Joker.
Not Joker.
Roy Batty from Blade Runner.
Roy Batty from Blade Runner and Ed.
And I said Penguin.
Okay, we heard Dan first. Dan, you get 20 seconds whenever you start speaking.
All right, I'm a Star Trek nerd. One of the best episodes was when they put Data on trial to decide what is life. So we have that in the Blade Runner universe. You have Roy Batty on trial for murder, and you're trying to figure out, is he liable? Was he made this way? Was he programmed this way? Where does the humanity start? Where does it begin? It gets deep and weird and slow, just like Blade Runner does, and it brings in bigger questions of humanity. Okay.
Time. Ed Greer.
I think the Penguin could make a very good case that he was doomed from the start. He's all messed up. His foot's all weird. His weird nose is all scarred up. His mom's overbearing. He could just do, if the Melendez brothers could almost get off, you know what I mean? Like, I think he's got a lot of stuff in the chamber, and he's trying to diversify the mafia. He's like,
Time. 10 second rebuttal. Dan Merle.
I think you just pitched Joker Folie à Deux, but with the Penguin. And spoiler alert, he's guilty because he's a mobster. This is much more about like deeper questions, and I think it'd be a much more interesting movie than just putting a gangster on trial, a mobster on trial.
Time. And Ed, rebuttal?
I would just have the guy that played the Inquisitor in Star Trek come and just ruin Roy Batty's argument, because there would be nobody as good as Riker to get Roy Batty off. So I'd just be like, this toaster is talking a bunch of crap. Put him in jail.
Time. All right. You know what? Solid arguments from each, but you were both reminiscent of what we just saw. You said it was going to get long and deep and weird, Dan, which is like the movie we just saw was very long and pseudo deep, and then you just pitched something in the same universe, which is a little too reminiscent of that. But
He doesn't agree.
Dan doesn't like that ruling at all. You know what Dan was just thinking right now? Dan was thinking, God, I wish Andy was back.
Oh, thinking, gosh, you're stupid.
Yeah, look at that look on Dan's face right now. That's the look of, Hal, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
I got to give the point to Dan because you just brought Star Trek into the Blade Runner universe, and I don't know how that would work.
Hope someone got fired for that blunder.
1 point.
That's how it was in the OG movie fights. Like, whenever Andy would, like, take a point away from Dan, Dan would pout.
Really?
Yeah, there was some really funny back and forth bickerings. Like, there was one conversation, I don't remember the context of it, but Dan was like, God, Andy, you always do this, man. And it actually sounded like a real, like, argument, like, creeping into, like, their movie shit. Yeah, press play.
And next question.
Riker lost that trial, by the way, just for the record. Sorry.
Okay, shout your answer as soon as you have it. What director would have likely made the finished film even worse than Todd Phillips's version?
Zack Snyder.
Oh,
Damn, that's good.
We got Zach. Ed? 5.
The Safdie brothers.
The Safdie brothers. Okay.
press play.
So we have Zack
pause.
Snyder. We have the Safdie brothers, Uncut
I would argue Leslie Headland would make a worse director for the Joker movie.
I don't know who that is.
Leslie Headland, like, directed The Acolyte.
Oh, you hate that.
Oh my god. She did a few other things. She did Dollhouse on was it Russian Doll, I think, on Netflix. She did Heathers with, like, Brett Cooper. That Heathers was actually a really good show. But when it comes to, like, fandoms and shit, like, she is so off the mark. Which is crazy because she claims to be a fan, but she plays Dungeons and Dragons and shit. She's a nerd, but I think she potentially could have made it worse than She-Hulk. I hope this is wrapping up soon because those edibles is kicking in, girl.
13 minutes.
Oh,
good time, etc. All right, let's get 20 seconds on the clock for the champ, Dan Murrell.
If you thought Joker Folie à Deux was too long and too dark and too up its own butthole, wait till you see Zack Snyder's Joker Folie à Deux. Every bit of subtlety that might have been in this movie, congratulations, that's the text of the movie now. And any small amount of flash or creativity that you enjoyed, well, get ready to replace those colors with brown and gray, and somehow wheat is going to be involved. I don't know how, but it's going to be folded in.
Somehow wheat is going to be involved. All right, Ed, 20 seconds on the clock. Safdie brothers, whenever you're ready.
Well, if you think this movie needed more Kevin Garnett, you know, then the Safdie brothers will certainly bring that. Why would you have me put on this Joker makeup if I couldn't have you as the Joker? You know what I mean? Like, and I just think the overall tone that those guys bring is so anxiety-inducing that it is the exact opposite of the quiet of this movie, which would be against the rules.
Press pause.
All right, 10-second rebuttal, Dan.
I'd like to change my answer.
Okay.
You know who would have actually made Joker 2 a lot worse?
Who?
Lenny Riefenstahl, the director of Triumph of the Will, the Nazi propaganda movie from the 30s.
Gosh.
For those that don't know, little fucking inside baseball for movie fights fan, that was Kevin Smith, right?
No.
Directed Clerks, Mallrats, Jay and Silent Bob. He's
Okay.
Silent Bob.
Yes. Okay.
He was in a movie fights with Dan on a panel at like a Comic-Con. It was him, Elijah Wood, and Kevin Smith. And they had to pick like what's the worst movie in history. And Dan picked Jaws 2 because his claim was that his theory on it was that Jaws 2 was the sequel that allowed sequels to be okayed. Because back in Hollywood, they didn't do a lot of sequels. Sequels and like remakes were really frowned upon. And because Jaws 2 made so much money, it then became okay to make like subpar sequels to movies, you know?
Okay.
So he argued that is like the worst movie ever made. And Kevin Smith had originally picked like another movie, but he said, but I changed my answer. And he picked the Nazi director. And he's like, and I'll be honest, I picked that movie because I knew that you guys wouldn't be able to argue against it. And I'd win. And Dan threw a fit. And he's like, Andy, you can't let him change the rule, like change his movie. He had already submitted it.
Right.
And Andy allowed it. And so like Elijah Wood backed out immediately. He's like, I'm not going to argue a Nazi propaganda movie is like...
Right.
not worse than like my piddly shit. And Kevin Smith was like, while you guys argue Jaws 2 and whatever Die Hard sequel Elijah Wood picked, I'm over here talking about things that matter. It was a really funny moment. And Dan frustratingly tried to argue still. He's like, no, I can do this in the lot. He's like, no, Dan, don't do it. Because he would have had to argue about how Jaws 2 is worse than the Holocaust.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's right.
Oh, man, that was a great moment. And so it would have been funny, a nice little callback if Hal was like, Triumph of, or not Hal, but the guy debating Dan was like, Triumph of the Will, because how could Dan argue that? He'd lose immediately.
Right.
An immediate point for Ed. All right, press play.
I mean, Uncut Gems was a great movie about making a really damaged, unlikable character interesting. I would have liked to see what they did with Arthur Fleck. And yeah, put KG on the stand. Your Honor, I'd like to question Kevin Garnett. And he shows up on...
Whoa, Dan just did a black accent.
He did?
He just did the impression of a black man. To a black man's face, no less. That's racist as fuck. I'm offended.
Why?
I'm not.
on the stand. That's incredible. I'd watch that movie.
Ed.
Yeah, I'm not going to concede this, but that was so funny. Leghorn rejoinder. But yes, I just think, yeah, damn it.
Time.
Ding, ding, ding. TKO. You know.
I was against the ropes and I slid down and somebody started spraying my mouth with Gatorade.
And here's the thing.
Anything is possible.
Dan did pitch a potentially worse movie. Ed, the movie you pitched sounds like a banger. I want to
Everybody
Everybody
loves them so much.
Yes. All right. It is 2-0 Dan Merle. So Ed needs to run the table here. Ed needs to run the table. Dan takes this. He shuts us all up. All right. Here we go. What was the worst scene/moment in Joker 2? Shout out your answer.
Pause. I just want to throw this out there. Based only on what I've heard from everybody, all of them. All the scenes were bad. There wasn't a single redeeming movie or redeeming part in that movie.
Well, that's why this is supposed to be a hard question.
According to Kevin Smith, according to Tim Dillon, he said every time it started to look like the movie was about to do something cool, they would break into song.
Oh
And
my
be like,
gosh.
it was that bad, yeah. All right, let's see their answers.
I think the opening.
What?
I think the opening.
The opening, the cartoon opening.
The opening
No,
is
not-
a bad
not the cartoon opening.
start
When he gets
to
to
a
prison.
movie.
Oh,
Okay.
The sequence where he gets to prison.
Gotcha. Dan.
I'm going to say his speech to the jury
His
at the end
closing
when he says
argument?
there is no Joker.
Gotcha. The speech on the stool, the closing argument to the jury.
Yeah.
Okay. We heard Ed first. The intro when he gets to prison. Dan has the closing arguments. Ed, 20 seconds on the clock.
Look, man, I understand I'm on a flaming ship, but I'm going to go down fighting with my saber. And I'm telling you, that opening scene is way worse than anything else. Hey, tell us a joke, Arthur. You got a joke for us, Arthur? They say that 15 times, dude. There's got to be more variety to his life in prison. But no, you got a joke for us, Arthur. It was so... I knew a horrible movie was...
Did you give these cats catnip?
No.
Why are they acting like this? I'm starting to get concerned. All our cats are spayed, by the way.
Mine aren't.
Yours aren't?
No.
Oh, man. No, they are not in heat already, are they?
They should be. They're well past. They're like 7 months old, I think.
I hope that the cat noises aren't that bad in the background while we're recording this.
Well, it's not going to be any louder than you pausing the video to talk about it.
Well, we have to. We can't just let it be, like, straight.
We apologize. I apologize already.
For the cats?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We should apologize profusely. All right, press play.
coming after that scene. There could be no return.
Time.
Dan.
So the scene where he's talking to the jury, that should be the moment where everything comes together. And it was completely unmotivated and unset up. And instead of that being a powerful moment in the movie, I was sitting there going like, wait, what? Because like, I get what they're doing, but like, how did we get here? The movie completely failed to establish why he's saying that. And so the movie really had a moment that it needed that it didn't have. And so I think that like the critical structure
time. Rebuttal round, 10
Ooh,
seconds.
Dan with the knockout blow.
I honestly think it's a horrible scene, but it kind of works for this horrible movie because the director is trying to tell you you're not going to get what you want. And in the penultimate scene where he's trying to do his best F. Lee Bailey, he fumbles it that hard. It's a big screw you, and it's exactly what Todd wanted. So thusly, to me, it's a great scene.
Dan.
Press pause.
I think.
Do we know for sure that's what Todd Phillips wanted? Did he really want to make that movie as a fuck you to the fans who liked the first one?
I have no idea.
Why would he make that movie then? Why would they
Unless
allow
that's
him
his
to?
interpretation.
I wonder. That's a good question. Why would they let him make that movie? Did they check in on him at all while he was making it? Like, yo, what's going on here? And Todd Phillips is like, get the fuck out. Like, Mr. Phillips, why are there backup dancers on the Joker set? He's like a kid that just got caught masturbating in his room. Get the fuck out! Press play.
The opening sets the tone for the movie. It sets up his relationship with the guards and a lot of the stuff that pays off later. And yeah, the end, like I said, I admire the intention of it, but it's just the construction around it. It fell completely flat at a really important moment for me.
Time. Ed takes this one. He
What?
It was
What?
Todd Phillips' intention, and you're not going to get what you want. He renounced the Joker persona, and it works in the way Ed framed it there. 2-1. Question number 4. Joaquin Phoenix famously won an Oscar for his first go-round as Joker. We want to know, what's the worst performance ever from an Academy Award-winning actor or actress? So someone who's won the trophy, what's their worst performance for an Academy Award winner?
Pause.
Al Pacino and Cinema Woman.
Damn, he thought of something quick.
Halle Berry and Catwoman.
Really?
Yeah, Catwoman fucking is horrible.
I liked it, but I was a kid when it came out, so I liked it.
Oh, no way. I would also argue George Clooney and Batman and Robin. That was pretty bad.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't agree with your answers.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, you liked Catwoman?
Yeah.
Oh,
It
God.
was like my favorite movie when it came out.
Me and you were about to throw down right now. Fucking how can you like it?
I was young.
You know that, like, that's not even Selena Kyle, right? Like, that's just they picked a random name.
I didn't know who that was, so to me, you see, you watch movies and you think of all this stuff, and that's why you hate a lot of them, but I go in not thinking about any of that stuff. I just watch the movie as itself, as a movie, and then I decide if I like it or not. That's why I like a lot more stuff than you do.
It'd be like making a Superman movie, but without Clark Kent as Superman. Like, it'd just be weird.
I mean, yeah.
Or
But when I watched it, I didn't know who Catwoman was, so I didn't know the difference.
if they made like a Two-Face movie, but but it wasn't Harvey Dent. It was very
get it.
strange. Yeah.
But once again, I didn't know who that was, so it wasn't a big deal.
Oh, and just like the music in that movie, like the rave techno music between scenes, like I don't know, it was I hated it. I hated her suit too. I hated her outfit. It wasn't cool.
Wasn't revealing enough for you?
No, man, it wasn't. It didn't have to be like revealing, but it could have been cool. Like they could have made her. She could. There's a lot of things that they could have did differently. She looked like a fucking cat, like a literal cat. She had a cat like thing on her head.
She had cat eyes.
Press play. I'm done with this conversation.
And it doesn't have to be an Academy Award-winning performance.
No.
Yeah, the worst performance by an Academy Award-winning actor. You're
Oh,
gonna,
press
It could be
pause.
him and Jack and Jill. It could be
Okay.
Duncan.
I would also throw out Robert De Niro and Rocky and Bullwinkle.
I don't know what that is.
Rocky and Bullwinkle?
Yeah.
Never saw the cartoon?
No.
Well, they did like a kind of a live action Rocky and Bullwinkle. Have you ever seen Full House?
Yeah.
Remember Uncle Joey?
Yeah.
Uncle Joey used to put his hands up to his ends to.
Oh, the moose?
Yeah, the moose. That was Bullwinkle.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they did a live action Rocky and Bullwinkle, and Robert De Niro. It was a shit movie. It was, but Robert De Niro was in it. So I would throw Robert De Niro and Rocky and Bullwinkle, or I would throw Halle Berry and Catwoman.
I can't think on the spot like that, so I can't think of anything right now.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, press play.
No? Okay.
The
Oh
person.
no, that's good. That's actually good.
Yeah,
That's
okay.
a brilliant
That was
performance.
so
Al
bad. That's
Pacino,
unfair.
Al Pacino, Scent of a Woman, his Oscar-winning role,
Yeah.
and Dan.
There's so many to choose from. I'm racking
Yes.
my brain here. I'm gonna go with
4, 3.
Cuba Gooding Jr. in the movie Boat Trip.
I was going to say radio. Okay.
Radio.
We're already demonetized.
I thought he was going to say Snow Dogs. Okay. Okay. So we have Cuba Gooding versus Al Pacino in Scent of
Press
a Woman.
pause.
Cuba Gooding Jr. in Boat Trip.
Cuba Gooding Jr. was in a lot of shit movies after he won the Oscar. There were a few Oscar winners that happened to, like where they were in like a banger and they got recognized, they got the Oscar, and then just after that they just started taking paychecks until eventually the quality just dipped so low they were like in straight to DVD rentals.
Oh, shit.
Ed, we heard from you first. 20 seconds are on the clock.
I'm just going big because this was so misunderstood by people as a great performance. It's maddening, and the fact that it beat Malcolm X, where Denzel Washington has played like 7 different characters throughout history of a biopic. It's just incredible that people gave that Foghorn Leghorn goofy ass performance and just over the top crap more precedence than other great performances. It's
Time. Dan.
Cuba Gooding Jr. won an Academy Award for basically having charisma, and yet he is not able to inject 1 ounce of that charisma into Boat Trip, which is a god-awful movie. So many times you have a terrible comedy that's actually saved by the personality of somebody in it. Cuba Gooding Jr. can't even muster that. It is astonishing that he could not put in a good performance, a decent performance after winning an Oscar.
10-second rebuttal, Ed.
Facts.
To me, it's specious at best to say that Cuba Gooding Jr. won his Oscar for charisma, when in fact it was a great script by Cameron Crowe that he performed okay.
Good point.
Time.
Good point.
Dan.
If we want to talk
Faces?
specious, this revisionist history around Al Pacino not being good in Scent of a Woman, go back and watch it. That scene where he dresses Chris O'Donnell down and talks about how dare you underestimate me and basically takes him down to size is brilliant, and he is great in that movie.
All right. Wow.
Yeah.
Damn.
Solid arguments
Press
from
pause.
both y'all.
I
Blow.
love Dan's faces.
Dan makes great faces.
See,
Yeah.
you can't hide it.
No, I know. Yeah, it was always the case in the OG too, because it was great. But no, I thought Ed made a good point about Jerry Maguire being just an all-around really good written script. That's what Cuba Gooding Jr. won the Oscar for. Yeah. But other than that, though, man, I think just on principle he's gonna lose because Scent of a Woman isn't a bad movie at all. Scent of a Woman is a great movie.
Dan's gonna lose?
No, Dan's gonna win.
Oh,
No doubt.
okay.
No doubt. Press play.
Were landed. But the thing that really got me, I loved when Ed brought in that context of Denzel and Malcolm X, because the pre-prison Malcolm X versus the post-prison Malcolm X, extraordinary.
What?
So
I'm with
just
Dan.
the context and the framework, that got me. So we are
this guy
all
won?
tied up.
Woo!
We're going
What?
to our
Oh,
fifth and
Dan was
final question
robbed.
here.
Oh, yeah.
This is for
looks mad.
all
I
the
would
bragging
be
rights.
too. I'm like, what the fuck are you
Joker
talking
2
about, Al?
is looking to have a similar opening to Morbius. So, Joker 2 or Morbius?
Oh,
What's Morbius?
Morbius is the vampire. Morbius was a vampire in the Marvel universe. He was like a Spider-Man villain.
Huh.
Yeah, because Sony has the film rights to all the Spider-Man characters, like the Spider-Verse and stuff. Like that's not Disney, that's Sony. Sony has the film rights to that still. Thankfully so, because of the quality Disney's gone on, the quality dip in Disney.
Hell yeah.
But no, they've been trying to release a lot of Spider-Verse characters. Like they're gonna do Kraven the Hunter next. Morbius was like their attempt. The Venom movies are part of the Spider-Verse.
Right.
And Morbius was Jared Leto played him. It wasn't a good movie. It was pretty bad. So the question is, which is worse, Morbius or Joker 2? You haven't seen either. I've seen Morbius. Morbius is bad.
Oh, shit. Yeah, no, I didn't even know what that was.
Yeah.
Better film.
Morbius.
Joker 2.
We got Dan with Joker 2. We heard Morbius from Ed first. Ed, 20 seconds on the
This is
clock.
which is a better film?
Morbius promises
I
a
don't
crappy
remember.
movie about a stupid science fiction vampire who will never fight the Spider-Man. The Joker 2 is supposed to be a continuation of this beautiful giant ascension of the Joker, and it is not. Thusly, one accomplished his goal and one did not.
And time.
Dan.
First of all, Morbius did not even deliver a sci-fi Spider-Man villain movie. It was the worst piece of photocopied eight times garbage. I would rather watch Joker 2, which I think has interesting parts. And you're assuming that it was supposed to be the follow-through from Joker 1, which is what a lot of people assumed, whereas I think the movie was actually taking a far different trajectory. You can't punish the movie for not following through with your assumptions, and at least it's interesting, unlike Morbius.
Ah, damn,
All right,
Dan.
Ed, 10-second
Oh, yeah,
rebuttal.
he went in.
Morbius did
I
suck.
think interesting is the graveyard where we bury stuff that didn't work, just like the Joker 2. Morbius didn't work, but it wasn't trying to be a highfalutin Oscar thing,
Time.
whereas Joker was.
Time. Dan,
Was
10
it?
seconds.
I will take a noble failure that didn't work over something that didn't even try to work. They put in that stupid Michael Keaton cameo. I think I'm here for some reason about Spider-Man. It was god-awful. No effort put into it. Give me the try of Joker 2.
Press pause.
I love you, Dan.
Who do you think's going to win?
Oh, man.
I think Dan.
I think so, too, because Morbius, see, it's tough because I haven't seen Joker, too.
Yeah.
But Morbius was a pile of garbage.
I just like his arguments.
Yeah, Dan Argument's great. Yeah, Andy fought for him to have him on the show. Like, they did not want Dan there, the higher-ups at Defy Media. And Andy fought for him.
Yeah. No,
So.
yeah, he's good to
No, he's a great debater.
debate with.
Oh, yeah, hell yeah.
You're the best.
Wow, man. First, a round of applause for both of our combatants. Epic. It came down to the final question after a furious comeback by Ed. I feel like
Tiebreaker.
both of you put out great points about your choices, but at the end of
Yeah,
the
Dan
day,
was like, I don't know about that.
I think Dan deconstructed your
Nice.
argument,
Hold
putting
on,
down
pause.
what
Pause.
Morbius was,
Look at that smug little smile on Dan's face. Even after all these years, Dan still likes to win movie fights. Dan's like, when he was like, you both make great points, Dan was like, I don't know. I don't know about all that, Al.
Like one of us did.
One of us made great, fantastic points, and the other one just kind of babbled and sense.
Oh, it's so funny.
I don't think that, but that's what Dan's face was telling us.
Right.
All right, press play.
And framed his film in the best light. Joker 2, a noble failure on what it intended to try. So, by the skin of his teeth, Dan Merle takes this speed round and our Joker movie fights.
Congratulations to Dan.
Wow.
He
Can I
keeps his
say a
belt.
few words about being slain in battle? Look, I am the Grendel,
He's happy.
but Dan is Beowulf.
Yes.
He will always choke you out in a weird castle.
Yeah, you know what I mean? It's just like I beat up all the Vikings, and then I get to this one guy with superpowers, and
Pause.
it's like, come on.
Hal's like, I have no idea what the fuck you're talking about. No, it's cool that Dan won, though.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like old times.
Right.
Dan won another movie fight, and you think he deserved it. And so do I, to be honest with you. I thought Dan's been the best part of this entire show so far.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, press play.
My ear hurts. I'm just trying to live.
I mean, Dan is unstoppable.
He's awesome.
Dan, I held off on watching your. Oh, nice music cue change. I held off on watching your Joker 2 review because I didn't want to be sullied before we made this video, but that is the first thing I'm going to watch after this. YouTube.com/Dan Merle Movies. It's the best in the business.
Yes. By the way, an answer that would have beaten all of you guys, the director that would have made the worst Joker movie, Petoff, the director of Catwoman starring Halle Berry. The singular name.
You said that pretty much.
I did say that. Yeah, that movie fucking is horrible too. Like it's just offensive to Batman fans. I remember when that movie came out and how pissed I was. I was like, dude, what the fuck is this? I think I snuck in to see it at the theaters.
Really?
Yeah. This was way before Netflix and shit.
This was Blockbuster days.
Yeah, Blockbuster days. It was like I either have to wait to see this at Blockbuster or I can just sneak into it right now. Go see Spider-Man. Fucking catch Catwoman in it. I was just sitting in that theater. I was like, this is fucking weird. Like,
That's what you get for sneaking in.
Catwoman's like fucking creeping over the building tops. You just hear. It's like, what is happening right now?
Well, we got less than a minute left, babe.
Less than a minute left. Should we wrap it up here?
Yeah.
All right. What's your consensus on the new movie fights?
I like the concept for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was all right.
It's a good concept.
I would like to try the old ones. See
Really?
how those are.
I'll show you the one where Dan debated Kevin Smith and Elijah Wood. That's the one where Kevin Smith picked the Triumph of the Will, the Nazi one. It's a pretty good one. That's like one of my favorites. The ones with Kevin Smith and Elijah Wood are like some of my favorite movie fights.
Okay.
All right, but yeah, I wanted to do this because I love movie fights. This holds a little special place in my heart. Got me through some tough hangovers in my 20s. Should we wrap it up here?
We already said yes.
All right. You giving it 2 pops or 2 queefs?
Give it one each.
Say it.
No.
Say it.
No.
1 pop, 1 queef from Popcorn Queefs. I gotta give it 2 farts. I'm biased, man. It feels like it just doesn't feel right not having Andy there. It doesn't feel like a whole reunion. So
I feel ya.
yeah, and plus knowing the backstory of where the concept came from, that it was like a game he played when he was 8 years old, and now they have the rights to it, like the legal rights to it.
Well, if you didn't know all that, it might change your opinion a little bit.
I tweeted at Andy once. Somehow this concept came up on his Twitter. He was talking about it, And I tweeted at him and I said, isn't there any way like you could still do this concept like on your own and just call it something else, like film battles or something like that? He never responded to me about it.
Oh, okay.
So I go, who the fuck is this guy?
You're a peasant.
He was like popcorn. Why is this popcorn farts asking me if I could do film battles? I moved on, dude. Yeah, but yeah, I wanted to check out the new one.
Yeah.
See what it was about.
Yeah, it was a good watch. Once.
I'm glad you like it, boo.
I mean, like I said, once.
All right, guys. Well, we're gonna take off. We still didn't reach that $1 goal. So
So pathetic.
we're gonna keep trying though. One day.
Don't forget when when you're cleaning out your pants before you do some laundry, just take that change and donate it.
When you hear that change around, when you just think of your old pal popcorn farts. We're gonna nail the dollar up on our wall.
Our first dollar.
First dollar. How about this? If you give us
We
a dollar,
made it.
if you give. How about this? If you give us $1, we'll go away. We'll stop doing movie reviews if you give us $1.
Watch me get a bunch of dollars.
They all just start throwing,
Like, thank God, here's
they all just started throwing dollars at us like a busted Daytona stripper.
Oh my gosh.
All right, popcorn farts out. Popcorn farts.
So lame. Okay.